obviously just got back from the office. When we were coming back in the car, we were talking about kind of what it's like to be a business owner in the current marketplace, and kind of just thought we'd basically hop on camera and have a bit of a chat about it. How are you finding things at the moment? Weird? Nice? All right?
All three. It's strange but exciting times. I think the big kind of buzzword is AI and how it's going to leverage what we do. And we were talking about this last night in terms of how it can now give feedback and how it can help us service more clients.
Yeah.
But also in terms of self-development, I think it's going to be huge. But business at the moment for us, it's actually really good.
Yeah.
Because there's quite a big gap between typical financial advice and actually financial planning and wealth management, which is what we do. And the clients that we have are starting to talk about it more, which is really great for us. It's just a case of continuing to spread the word, helping people understand what we do, and articulating what the difference is. I think the differentiator is going to be key to businesses like ours going forward, and helping people understand what those differences from the kind of real bog standard basic service.
Yeah, well, I think what I'm kind of seeing, this is in accountancy industry, dental industry, is people are like trying to replace their labour with AI, but not using it to kind of create more value. So, when you're like managing people, your aim is actually for them to be better at your job than you, so you can do something else and figure out how to add more value, which is, the Peter principle idea.
Yeah.
That like everyone gets promoted like one job beyond their competency because that's their last promotion.
Yeah.
They're kind of tapped out in how they can add value. So I think when we're talking about our advisory piece and our accountancy world, I'm actually like way more confident about my consultancy service than I've ever been. I'm very narrow in the clients I can work with now. And I think that's kind of the trend it's going to be, that there's going to be a lot of people who can use the fact that you can leverage your time much more, have a much lower employee base, so lower wages. Obviously, AI is going to put the squeeze on us when we really rely on it, to just add kind of disproportionate levels of value. So I think we've discussed it before, and I've seen it on Twitter and stuff, like it's like the top 10% of advisory roles, so like lawyers, accountants, financial advisors like yourself, they'll be okay. They'll actually probably service 10 times as many customers, but the people that kind of hide behind the qualification, say don't worry about it, here's my invoice, here's the amount of time I spent on this, you're fully compliant with the rules, but you haven't added any value. I think they're kind of on a road to not really exist anymore, to be honest. We were talking with my brother the other day, and like, what did he say? A lawyer, like...
It's charging him for sending an email, just confirming... I can't even remember. It was so basic.
It was like, saying no. It was like, no, I won't sell you my house, or something that basic.
And it was like £295 plus VAT.
Yeah.
And Zach was like, well, I'll just do that myself.
Yeah.
And that's people like that are going to get found out, because you can't hide behind that qualification anymore.
How have you found it? So I feel like I always wanted to be a business owner, and I've always kind of done it in one way or another to greater or lesser degrees of success. I've got multiple businesses now. I think I'd kind of gone through a bit of a grieving process over the last couple of years, because like you've built something, it has an asset value, it's successful, and it's like I always knew AI was like coming to not wipe it out, but like fundamentally change the model. I remember being on my MBA and they like make you read all like fourth industrial revolution stuff, and like top of the list for industries to be wiped out was accounting. So that's way back in, I don't know, 2015 or something. But actually seeing it happen, I don't know, I think there was like some, well, put your head down, keep working, like it'll be all right type thing. Whereas this year, I don't know, I've kind of been really exhilarated by the whole thing, and I'm really excited. I don't know if you read my last article, but it was like saying, do you know what, like in the gym you want the weights to be heavy, like what do you want the business for? Do you want the business to like just get paid? It's probably easier ways of getting paid. You're doing it because you like the challenge, you like the thrill, and you like the fact that it's sometimes too much for you. Like do you kind of, is there anything like that in your world, or is it slightly different?
I think it's exciting for me, because if you think of a position 10 years from now with using AI to develop your skills, your business, compared to if we didn't have it, it would be night and day. So I think it's really exciting. The structure is going to look completely different, and I think that as a parent, my concern is, well, how do you bridge that gap between, you know, high level executive, high level advisor, and someone that's not there if there's AI in between? And my first thoughts would be, you need to kind of shadow someone and just say you'd work for free, although that's not legal.
Yeah, no,
but you'd make sure that you get there somehow.
That was like how you got experience.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was like a photography assistant for like 6 months, helping on shoots. Like, I'm not a photographer now, but like it was good experience and you could do it. I think they gave you a £5 a day.
Yeah.
And I stayed in my sister's house, and like that's how you started to figure out your career path.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like, you kind of have to go into a job that's probably not going to want you because you can add zero value and minimum wage is so high.
Yeah.
Pretty messed up. Like,
and actually a really good, I think we were talking about this the other day, it's kind of not looking at things in monetary terms, especially at the beginning of your 100%. Career. If you can go with a practice owner that really knows what they're doing, can teach you how to make money commercially, can teach you what your profit is as an associate, you know, that's going to pay dividends way more than, you know, just an increase in wage or a bigger percentage share of the chair.
Well, my dream is that this does shift in dentistry, that like associates kind of wise up. It's funny, right? Because you have to invest in yourself so much to become a dentist, from like studying hard to going to university where you're not getting any, you might work in a bar, but you're not like getting any income. It's pure investment in yourself.
Yeah.
And then when they qualify, they may invest in additional clinical courses, but they don't see like taking a lower percentage or even a kind of fixed salary from a practice that can teach you to gross loads of money is like way better than going somewhere getting 50%, but like you're actually not earning very much money. So like I've got clients that, you know, take foundation dentists pre kind of VT and like say, I think they said it might have changed now, but like year one you're on 35k, but you're learning, like you can afford to live, but you're learning. And then like by 2 years, they're grossing decent, like 2.5k ADYs, which a lot of dentists never reach in their career. But it requires that associate to be a bit more humble and kind of not listen to the crowd, because like in the kind of marketplace, it's like, no, you need to, you know your worth, get your 50%. It's like absolutely mental. Like you don't want 50% of nothing really. So, but it's a real shift. I don't know what comes next, but you never do. Do you know what I mean? Like, have you been one for making predictions? We were talking about it earlier because we're filming. This is cringe, but my old man and Ross did a video from, well, it'll have been like 6 and a bit years ago, because it was like pre-COVID, so like probably a couple of weeks into the year, just saying, because you were hearing stuff. A lot of clients were kind of just asking about it, what we thought, oh, we'll just get a video out there, like saying we don't know anything. What little did we know, luckily we didn't like lock ourselves into any predictions or anything, but it was just, it's so funny to think about it, that world we lived in and like the world we live in now. And how it changed so radically over those 6 years. So I'm like comfortable not to make predictions, but kind of, I always feel ultimately if you're kind of open-minded and like focused in what you're trying to do, you'll be all right, is kind of my general feeling, but that might be overly optimistic.
I think the outcome, I think Ross said that a few more people might have sick days or something in that video.
I think it might have even been my dad was like, yeah, you know, people will be taking the mickey, there'll be sick notes all over the shop. And it's just like, yeah, okay.
It didn't age well.
No. The thing is, it has fundamentally changed the job market, because it's not just minimum wage. It's like furlough absolutely ruined the brains and outlooks of like loads of the labour force. But, and I get it, like, you know, when we went into lockdown, for me, well, firstly, my first child was born like in that April. I had to turn off my consultancy revenue, which was a lot of money that I'd spent, 6 years building. Had to turn off my marketing revenue, which I spent 8 years building. And basically figure out how to get to business and become a dad at the same time and save everything. And actually it was like transformational for the business. Like the business is significantly bigger, significantly better, significantly more profitable, and a better service delivery now. So it was like the scariest and hardest working time of my life. But I've got like some good mates who are like, yeah, it's pretty good. I was getting paid, sat in my garden with a load of tinnies in the sun. And they're like, yeah, it was all right. But for me, it was awful. I think almost felt like the world split at that point or something. It's like, did it become terrifying, or did it become a nice leisurely time? But then that person had to then go back to work full time for 20% more. And it's like, that's a pretty rough landing. Yeah.
But so what do I think is going to happen in kind of the next 6 years? Well, I think AI is going to kind of get rid of the basic form of advice in both of our games.
100%.
I think what's going to become more important is the experience, and whether that's more of a community of clients that help each other, and events like we've discussed, potentially you've got one coming up in September. It's just more value add in terms of, we're working harder to help the more holistic financial piece, or maybe even stuff that's not as financial. And focus on that, because we'll have more time to do it if technology speeds up. So that's where I think it's going.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? So like, I can have a client for years, introduce them to you, and because of the nature of the conversation you're having, you'll find out something about that I didn't know. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's just a different conversation. Like, I'm kind of speaking more specifically about the business, and I'll know them and know their family and stuff like that. But you're like saying like, this is about setting your family. You're not going to be here forever. Like, how do you set it up best? It's like very kind of deep and profound conversations. Hopefully, I think that kind of illuminates that top skill of being able to communicate and listen to someone and ask the relevant questions is always going to have value.
Yeah.
Because I know there's going to be like an accountancy software which does all your accounts. I believe it will get you compliant as well. I do believe it will probably be regulated, so it can't give you like good tax advice. Just because there's no way. Well, HMRC trains accountants, so accountants are trained to be agents of HMRC.
Yeah.
So we spend a huge amount of time trying to deprogram accountants when they join us, going, no, you're working for the client, not the taxman. Like, it's like quite a radical shift. I believe the AI will work for the taxman, so I think there's a space in there. But also that space that's like the randomness or chaos. I just know it's different. Like, you can get something that'll be practically good and correct and not expose you to any risk. But also it won't be able to get you the biggest possible win. Well, actually, like, thinking about it, we've got a client, so you know how the kind of dental market works. What corporates tend to want to do is pick off dental practices before they've seen a broker, because a broker can get them a better price ultimately, because they can get a competitive tender. They know the purchasers, they know the market. Like, you absolutely should use one. But they're very clever in how they operate, because they like pitch the deal in a certain way. They kind of imply that they don't do anything illegal, but they make it sound very compelling just to go straight to them, be much quicker, lower fees, etc. So it took between Simon, Ross and myself for one client, great guy, like hundreds of voice notes, telephone calls, Zooms, of saying, please stop speaking to them. We're going to engage a third-party broker. They are regulated. We're running point on the situation, and he's going to get an extra £500,000 from the deal.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, if he hadn't have done it sold direct, he would have got about 1.2, which is a decent chunk of money, and actually probably would meet his financial needs given other things that he's kind of set up. But because he wouldn't be hacked off, because he never knew he could have got the extra 500k if he'd have done it right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where real advice comes in, like figuring out how you can get clients not to make massive mistakes and know that your outcome may look okay, but this is what you could have won.
Yeah.
But trying to get them to realise that early enough is a pretty big challenge, to be honest.
Yeah. And it's somewhere along the chain, one of us is going to pick that up if we've got a mutual client. So it's a case of saying, look, and probably all of us would have said that, whether it's Simon doing tax advice, you're Ross doing business, or myself on the planning side, we will have all said, look, let's just get the best deal possible here and the best advice, because it can make a huge difference.
Well, it's also a weird, you don't look at what things tell you they're doing, you look at the incentives they've got, which is like, so all of the corporates in one way or another, some actually have agreed that the way we recommend will get the best outcome for the client, which I do actually respect. But generally, if corporate emails me, says, time to catch up, they say, great. I kind of explain, we always want to use third-party regulated broker because we act for the client, want to get the best deal. And it always kind of ends with, but you're an accountancy firm, you can value businesses, come on, and you can sell direct to us and we'd get paid loads of money if we did it, basically.
Yeah.
So actually there's a massive incentive for any accountancy firm to say, don't worry about using a broker, don't worry about this, save loads of fees, we can sell you directly here. But the client is the one that's getting screwed, basically, that every time. And that happens all the time in dentistry.
Yeah.
So it's like, personally got a big commitment to acting for my clients, and it's not philanthropic. Like, I believe I'll win personally, commercially as well in the long run if I do the right thing on repeat. So it's, I do believe in ethics, but it's not like how things are presented in the industry. There was a guy that used to like charge the client 60k and then just go and sell them to his mate at corporate and get a massive kickback from them. Client could have lost £1 million on that deal and would never know, because they're trusting their advisor. Yeah. And that's, that's a chartered accountant. Like, how couldn't you trust them? It's like, well, actually, the incentives aren't there and the regulation isn't there to not do that, which is crazy. But
yeah. I can't think of a scenario where you wouldn't want to go to a broker. I was just thinking then, I can't think of one. Even if it's a sense check if that's the right place for you, that's the right home. Yeah.
It's like, and there's, like, I have opinions on the brokers, which I won't get into, but like, I'd always advocate for having one in place. Yeah. Because I don't know, like, would you just want to sell your house to the first person that looked around it?
Yeah, probably not.
I don't think. Yeah. Like, I don't know, but that's literally what you're doing. And there's people employed by corporates to like. So a lot of people do it. Yeah. To just pull you off from the crowd. Don't listen to them over there. You're going to get the best deal from us if you just sell directly to us. It's just not true. Yeah. Is it? I mean, how are you finding dentistry? Because you've obviously got a large business that kind of serves mainly kind of SMEs, like generally the customer base of that.
Well, business owners on the other side generally, or executives, is how we started off the business. And it's good. It's really great for me because all of the dentists I've seen have already had an advisor, as in a financial advisor, except they've not been doing the whole planning piece with the joined up thinking. And that's made a real impact. I think the most common thing we hear is, why hasn't my advisor said this already? It's really rewarding. I was talking to Simon and Ross about this, when you can go to someone and say, look, here's a clear plan, this is what we can do, this is when you can retire. And you don't have to, take all that money out on loan and build three surgeries to your existing practice. You don't need to do that if you don't want to. If you want to, and that's where you get your thrills, then great. But if you want to spend your time with your family, get your head down, reduce your tax liability, and just work over the course of the next 15 years, you can actually do that. And it's a really rewarding job and a privilege to be able to do that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it with dentists. It seems to be landing really well in terms of word of mouth, and that's where we get most of our business now.
Well, it's the first time I've spoken to an IFA strategically, if that makes sense. So like, you've got to make like, not me saying this, but like someone in the accountancy team says you probably should make a pension contribution, like these are your options, and it's kind of focused around like products rather than actually going like taking that longer term view. But because you're taking the longer term view, you can ask me a question about what they're doing, or like saying, have I understood this right? And then I can ask you questions about what they're actually thinking. I think we've said it a few times that a lot of clients, because I'm giving them business advice, think I want to have 20 practices and do all this stuff, when really I just want them to choose their poison and take it. Which path do you want? There's going to be a load of trade-offs, but if you're really, really clear on it, then we can actually devise the strategy. Yeah. So like a classic example is a client of yours as well, really good bloke, is buying a second site, as often happens, is kind of like going, like it's not like he's got a really good core site, but like it's not like it doesn't run itself, but no business does run itself. So he's not getting cold feet, he's just going, am I mad for doing this? Because I'm hitting quite a few markers. Yeah. And I was like, you're mad if you want to exit at some point for like 2.5 mil. Yeah. Because you can probably do that in the site you've got. Yeah. In the next few years. You've told me in our initial briefing that it kind of needs to be 5 mil. Yeah. From dental business assets. You have to have another business. Yeah. Is that still correct? And he was like, that is still correct. So it's like, you're not mad, but the nuance is absolutely key there. Again, I think that's a bit where it's better to have a human in that slot than like an AI guy.
Yeah, and that might change. That might change. Once it gets to, and it might be instead of doing clinical work, instead of having that second practice, it's okay. I don't want to do 4 days now. I want to do 2, and I want to work on the business. And that's a continually evolving thing for clients.
Well, it's funny, like when you do your traction quarterlies and your annual. You've read Traction, haven't you? Gino Wickman's book, yeah. So you kind of come up with your massive objectives when you first do it. I think we've been doing it for 4 years or something, but it's very, very funny how your 10-year objectives change year on year.
Yeah.
And like some you get really right, and some like you look at them and you're like, that's absolutely bonkers. Like what were we thinking there? It's evidence of good strategy, not bad strategy, because you can understand why. You can see the exploration and execution you went through. You got your feedback and judged that is a good avenue, or actually that isn't a good avenue. I shouldn't be looking at that anymore. So it's the other thing is it's very important that this guy's a very competent entrepreneur as well.
Yeah.
So if he was saying I want 5 million and he can't turn up to meetings and he can never execute anything we're discussing, well, firstly I probably wouldn't be working with someone like that, because I don't want to take the money of someone that can't do that, because I'm not going to be able to help them. But I would definitely say it's not good to get that second sight. Because it does, like, it can very easily be a compounding, a squaring of your problems, easily.
I think he'll thrive.
I think he'll
pull out
fine,
of the less clinical stuff.
Yeah, that's the kicker, isn't it?
Yeah. And then once you start doing that, you can see things a bit more clearly then, because you're not as tired, you're not as busy.
Yeah. No, so it's
in terms of, I guess, a question which I've always found interesting is the role looks played. You think for you, in terms of your business, your path, your career, kind of, what's your thoughts on that?
Like, very, very lucky. I think like Ross kind of describes it, that I'm a bit like Madonna, that I like have to reinvent myself every while. So my career trajectory has not been linear at all. So it was leaving school, 6 months at uni, did nothing at uni, obviously. Worked with you for that catering company, knocked over a wedding cake at a wedding, which was good. But then, worked in bars, set up Loose Limited, telemarketing company. That was great fun. We lost that after 18 months, but it was fairly successful. Then I was like PT, photography assistant, all of these different things. But like the core, it kind of taught me that whatever you do, to be good at anything you do, it's like the same thing you have to do. And it's like, firstly, so I've never had technical skill. So it's like, be helpful and make other people look good. So lay people up to do good things. The Canvas strategy. So Ryan Holiday, I think. So it's like, to get a good mentor, you've got to be a good mentee. So you've got to create canvases for your mentor to paint on. And I think actually you should do that up and down the chain in businesses. And if everyone in the business does that, you've got a great business, because you're all kind of laying each other up to do well. So I kind of saw that I could be working in a studio, painting things, and like just being helpful, listening, never surprising people, or like bad surprises, not like jumping out from behind.
That's exactly what I like.
Like that stuff. Never lie is a massive one, because people might not actually call you out on it. They'll probably just go behind closed doors, so-and-so's just said they didn't do this. They've clearly done it. It's like, he always does that. And it's like, you'll have this reputation. I went on this amazing leadership course once, and it was like this mad ritual through the week. It was in Dublin, and you got there and like you got a note slid under your door to like go somewhere on Sunday evening. Like this choir walked. It was all weird. You didn't know what was going on. Didn't end in an Eyes Wide Shut thing, just to be clear. But
that's where I thought you were going.
The final day. So you've been like working closely with like this group of probably 8 people from all over the world, all senior level kind of managers and leaders, doing loads of kind of weird reflective exercise, like go and like just sit next to someone and like look out for 40 minutes, then go inside, write about it for 30 minutes, and then talk about it for 10 minutes with each other. It's like, what are you doing there? But kind of changes how your mind works. And the final exercise is you're presenting to a chairperson, and everyone else is sat with their backs to you on wheelie chairs, and the chairperson isn't really meant to say anything, but if you dry up talking, they'll kind of give you a prompt. You talk for 10 minutes, sit down, turn your back to them, and they discuss you, and you kind of want to turn around and go, well, that's not what I said, I kind of got but you're not allowed to do it. You stand up again, and the chairperson kind of selects questions that the panel have asked that he thinks are, or he or she thinks are the most pertinent ones, asks you them, then you've got to answer them, then the same thing happens, and then you finally sit. I think you've got one more rebuttal, then you sit down, and then they all turn around and discuss almost what you need to hear. It was really funny for me because it was like one of the first exercises on the Monday morning was like, draw your leadership problem. It's like, I quite like doing exercises like that, and I drew it. It was like explaining it. Obviously I speak really fast and like I'm a bit intense, and this lady went, whew, sounds like you need a management consultant. And I went, oh no, I am one, I don't need one. Like completely blind to like, it's like ridiculous. And then on the last day they were like, yeah, I think Dan just hasn't really got a strategy for his business. Like, so it was a long time ago, but they were right.
Yeah.
They were right. I was dealing with tactical stuff, peripheral stuff, looking at external things, and actually didn't really have a hold on what the core competency of Hive was and the direction we're heading in.
Yeah.
So that was a long way around to explaining, like, learning how humans work, how, when you're a kid and you do something naughty, like you take a little cigarette out your dad's cigarette box and you like don't get told off for it. He might have actually noticed it and just thought, whatever, like you might not have got away with it type thing, but it wasn't worth the trouble of telling you off. That's real life.
Yeah.
You don't actually, I try and as much as possible in Hive to instill a culture of real-time feedback, like anything. Yeah. Like just tell people so everyone knows where they stand. And if you and I are having a conversation about someone else, it's like we should actually tell them what we're saying. Or like, be care about them, and you're not trying to harm anyone, but it's like real-time feedback's really useful. Broadly through my career, I'm super lucky because I got to learn these things that you don't really learn from books. Obviously, I like books. You kind of just see them happening. It's the same thing every time. What makes someone good or bad is actually really simple. It's like listening and agreeing what you're going to do, doing it, and then being honest about if you did a good job or not of it. Because if you did a good job and it didn't work, you shouldn't do it again. If you did a good job and it worked, you should do it again. If you did a bad job and it didn't work, well, maybe it's on you. Do you know what I mean? It's like this, and you see it with clients, see it with team members, see it myself. I think that's probably the biggest thing. I see myself looking for the easy excuse, going, that happened because of the thing. And it's like, no, it was happening because you're an idiot. No, that's what's gone on there. We know that. So I think luck's massive. I do believe in like classic things that like you do make your own. Do you ever see that Darren Brown thing in Todmorden?
No.
So it's like unluckiest man in England lives in Todmorden. He's like a butcher or something, and he's like doing stuff like leaving 50 quid notes in front of him, and he just misses them. And it's because I think the kind of theory is that because he believes he's unlucky, he becomes unlucky. Yeah. Whereas if you're walking around, looking for opportunities and always kind of scanning the horizon, looking at the floor, kind of always observing, you become lucky. Yeah. So I definitely think I'm kind of lucky in that sense, because I'm always, I don't know, just like looking at the situation that I'm in and like asking, why am I here? What am I doing? Is this moving things forward? And that kind of generates a kind of compound effect of like little wins, maybe. Yeah. It's like Napoleon Hill's, Think and Grow Rich. You've got that little card of your goals, and you're always thinking about it because it's front of mind, so you're always scanning for it. I thought you were going to say Napoleon Dynamite. I was like, where's he going with those? Uncle Rico. But you had a pretty big revelation on that leadership course as well, didn't you? It's a very important one. That is where I decided to get married. So not on the course. I didn't get married on the course, but like you're doing all this written reflection, and you kind of like looking back through your whole career and stuff. And I was like, okay, like when this turbocharged, like was when I suddenly had stability and like got in a normal relationship and just like had built a life. Yeah. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, why like, not that I was kind of questioning anything, but it's just like, well, obviously I hadn't really thought about getting married before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know, like our generation was kind of fairly libertine, wasn't it? It's like, yeah, whatever, you're having fun, whatever. And then I was like, oh, cool, let's kind of cut down this path. And that's been a big part of it. So my wife's a businesswoman too. And so like how we've designed our lives is so we can run businesses but spend maximum amount of time with our kids.
Yeah.
And it has, you know, compromises that have come alongside with it, but it's kind of what you want to do. Well, that's the appeal of being an entrepreneur. Obviously, like, you're your own boss, but you've got loads of masters, the tax man, banks, all of this stuff. Your employees actually are like, are your masters to some degree. But there is this kind of space, this freedom to create your own kind of life, but you have to take the trade-offs that come with it.
Yeah, and I've been reading a book by Matthew Kelly called Off Balance, which is all about the kind of myth of work-life balance, and it's about creating that life of, well, actually, this is just the life that I want. You know, the working side is something that I want to do. Yeah, which I think is really important, and it's something that's, you know, topical at the moment. Work-life balance, I think, with most people. You know,
there's a lot of useful things I got from doing an MBA, but there's also a lot of like nonsense that you learn from it, because a lot of the people on an MBA are academics or haven't actually worked, particularly in small businesses, which have commercial realities to them. So like, I think it's the worst advice you can give to someone, particularly early in their career, that you should aim for the 4-day week.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's actually terrible advice, and like the statistics show it's bad advice. So like, it's shown that people that work 10% longer get paid 40% more, and it's the compound effect of being just available for opportunities. They're not being paid more for that extra 10%. It's just they're available more. So when it's kind of 5:15 and I go scanning the office, I go, actually, Dave, can you do this thing? I think Dave's a good guy, and it like compounds like, well, it's well, I literally built my career like going. They say, can someone go to Heathrow? I say, yeah. Like that's you just say yes to everything, and everyone goes, he's a nice lad. I'll help him out, and that's how you build it. So at the start of your career, you're told that you are really useful as well, and you have great ideas. You don't at the start of your career. Like, I'll speak for myself, but I can broaden it out. It's like, you're a bit of an idiot, to be honest. You don't know how commerciality works. You have all these views that you're very confident in, which are wrong. They're objectively incorrect. If you're limiting your time to be refined by working somewhere by 20%, that's not good.
No, that compounds in a way that's not good.
Well, it's like, would you say to Mike Tyson, actually, it's probably not good to go running at 5 a.m. in the morning. Actually, it's better. Sleep tight, mate. It's like, no, like, if you want to be, I think that comes back to it. I want to be really good at what I do. I'm nowhere near as good as I want to be. I know that that's a commitment to just doing it. Like, that's the thing. It's like, so when I was on paternity leave, it was a pain having to do some big meetings, and, you know, it's the time when we're doing webinars and stuff because no one knew what was going on. But like, at the end of the day, I do want that to be me. Like, I do want to be the guy that's doing it. And I do like to be important. I want to be the guy that a client calls on, you know, Sunday morning saying, what's going on? What do I do? Like, that's actually, it's what makes my business great, I believe, that kind of availability and care. But it's also where I kind of get some kind of feedback and self-worth from what I'm doing. It's not just a paycheck. So I'd really, really, really struggle to do a normal job. I actually don't know if I could do it. Which would probably have more structure, more regularity, and definitely more downtime, and I'd definitely take more holidays. And I'd be able to switch off on weekends. But like, I don't know if I could do it. Like, I don't think I'm set up that way.
There's no going back, I don't think, after you've run your own business. But yeah, I think, like you meant, when you're younger, you've got energy and attitude. That's what you've got to give. If you've got those two things, people will look after you. And the other point about kind of working more and that compounding, I remember a friend of ours, Dad, always told me that if you work half a day on Saturday, you're 10% ahead. You know, do a whole day. You know, that compounds. In terms of knowledge, skill, experience, it all adds up. So yeah, I'd agree. I think that's really important.